Back in the year 2000, Blockbuster was a $6 billion empire with 9,000 stores lighting up street corners around the world. That same year, they had the chance to buy a tiny, struggling startup for just $50 million. They didn't just say no, they practically laughed them out of the boardroom. That startup. It was Netflix. This is the story of what might be the single worst business decision in modern history, and how arrogance and an allergy to change let a small DVD by mail service completely dethrone the king of entertainment. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you know the iconic look of Blockbuster's blue and yellow ticket stub. It wasn't just a video store, it was a weekend ritual. The thrill of walking down those aisles, grabbing the latest Hollywood hit, and picking out a box of Bunch of Crunch was a core memory for a whole generation. Founded in 1985, Blockbuster grew at an insane speed, completely dominating the home video market. At its absolute peak in 2004, the company had almost 85,000 employees and over 9,000 stores worldwide. It was an unstoppable force in entertainment, a true titan. But behind the bright lights and shelves packed with movies, there was a dark side to Blockbuster's business model. It was a huge source of profit, but it was also their greatest weakness: late fees. We've all been there. You forget to return a movie, and suddenly, that $3 rental has become a $20 penalty. It was a universally hated experience. In 2000 alone, Blockbuster raked in an estimated $800 million from late fees, which made up a wild 16% of its total revenue. The company was literally making money by annoying its customers. This strategy, which some insiders actually called managed dissatisfaction, was a ticking time bomb. Blockbuster was built on a foundation that punished the very people who kept them in business, leaving the door wide open for a competitor who could solve that one major headache. The story of Netflix, like a lot of Silicon Valley legends, started with a moment of pure frustration. In 1997, an entrepreneur named Reed Hastings got slapped with a $40 late fee for the movie Apollo 13. Now, Hastings has since admitted this might be more of a neat marketing story than the literal truth, but it perfectly explains the problem he and his co-founder, Mark Randolph, wanted to fix. Randolph and Hastings were work buddies who would brainstorm startup ideas on their commute. They thought about everything from custom dog food to personalized shampoo before they landed on the next big thing in home video: the DVD. Unlike bulky VHS tapes, DVDs were small, light, and tough, perfect for sending through the mail. They combined this new tech with the growing power of the internet, and on August 29, 1997, Netflix was born. At first, their model was simple: rent DVDs online and get them delivered to your door. But the real game changer came in 1999 when they rolled out a subscription service. For one flat monthly fee, you could rent as many movies as you wanted, with no due dates and, most importantly, no late fees. It was a direct assault on the single most hated part of the Blockbuster experience. Netflix wasn't just selling convenience, it was selling freedom from the penalty box. The business took off. After starting with just $5 million in revenue in 1999, it was on a path that would soon put it on a collision course with the giant. By 2000, the dot-com bubble had burst, and even with its cool new model, Netflix was bleeding cash. In a last-ditch effort, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph flew to Dallas to meet with Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco. Their pitch was simple: buy us for $50 million. Netflix would become Blockbuster's online brand, running the internet side of things while Blockbuster handled the stores. It was a lifeline for them, and a golden ticket for Blockbuster. The response they got is now the stuff of legend. Mark Randolph said that after they named their price, he watched John Antioco literally struggle to keep a straight face. He was trying not to laugh. Blockbuster's executives saw Netflix as a very small niche business and thought all that dot-com hype was just noise. They turned them down flat, basically laughing the future of entertainment right out of their office. It was a colossal miscalculation. The execs sitting on top of their multi-billion-dollar empire were blinded by their own success. They saw a tiny, struggling DVD company, not a revolutionary idea that solved their own customers' biggest complaint. They just couldn't see that the world was changing, and that their giant, expensive stores and hated late fees were a weakness, not a strength. That one arrogant decision sealed their fate. It was a long, quiet flight home for the Netflix guys, but they now knew there was only one way forward. They had to crush Blockbuster. After that disastrous meeting, the two companies went in completely opposite directions. Netflix, even though they were hurting, was more determined than ever. They focused obsessively on making their service better, perfecting their DVD delivery, and most importantly, looking ahead. They knew physical discs wouldn't last forever. In 2007, Netflix made its biggest leap yet, launching its streaming service so people could watch movies instantly. It was a risky move, but it showed they knew exactly where things were going. Blockbuster, on the other hand, was asleep at the wheel. It took them until 2004, a full 4 years after laughing off the buyout offer, to launch their own clumsy version, Blockbuster Online. By then, Netflix was miles ahead with a huge base of loyal subscribers. Blockbuster's attempts to catch up were half-hearted and messy. They tried getting rid of late fees in 2005, a move that cost them hundreds of millions in revenue, and just confused everyone. They even launched a program where you could swap online rentals in physical stores, but it was a financial black hole, losing them money on every single exchange. While Netflix was pouring money into algorithms and servers, Blockbuster was being dragged down by thousands of expensive physical stores, a massive anchor in a digital world. The company's leadership just couldn't let go of the past. As late as 2008, CEO Jim Keyes famously said, "Netflix doesn't really have or do anything that we can't or don't already do ourselves." That kind of hubris, that total failure to see a disruption happening right in front of them, was the final nail in the coffin. The final years for Blockbuster were a slow, painful crawl to the grave. The company was drowning in nearly $1 billion of debt, much of it taken on to build more stores right as that business model was dying. While Netflix's subscriber count shot into the millions, Blockbuster stores became ghost towns. In September 2010, the inevitable finally happened. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Dish Network bought the company in 2011, but it was too little, too late. By 2014, the last of the corporate-owned stores shut their doors for good. The blue and yellow signs that were once everywhere just vanished. Meanwhile, Netflix was taking over the world. After winning the DVD war, it went all in on streaming, expanding internationally in 2010 and changing the game again in 2013 by releasing its own original content with House of Cards. The little startup that was laughed out of a boardroom was now a global entertainment giant, completely rewriting the rules of how we watch things. The story of Blockbuster and Netflix is more than just a business lecture. It's a gripping story about what happens when you get too comfortable and how fast the world can change. If you find stories like this fascinating, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the companies that define our world. Today, Blockbuster is mostly just a memory and a powerful cautionary tale. Well, almost. In Bend, Oregon, a single franchise store is still open. The very last Blockbuster on Earth. It's become a tourist hotspot, a living museum to a lost era of Be Kind Rewind. The fall of Blockbuster wasn't just about a new technology showing up. It was about a failure of imagination. It was about a level of corporate arrogance so deep that it led a $6 billion company to laugh at the future, even when it was standing right there, asking to be bought for a bargain. It's a stark reminder that in a world of constant change, no empire is too big to fail, and the next world-changing idea might just come from the startup you write off today.